let's go to the phone lines and welcome in Madre Hill. But first, let's give him his just due.
At midfield at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Madre Hill. Lenny gets the pitch away to Madre Hill at the 20, Hill at the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown! Hill with a call at the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Arkansas. Madre Hill, he's going in. Touchdown, Arkansas.
You heard some of the great Paul Eels calls as we welcome in former Arkansas Razorback running back Madre Hill. Madre, thank you so much for making some time for us this morning, man.
Man, anytime for you guys. Good morning.
Good morning. So let's go back to your high school days. You had over 6,000 rushing yards, over 60 rushing touchdowns. You're recognized as the Reebok National Player of the Year, a USA Today All-American. Madre, when is the first time someone coined the nickname towards you as Madre the Magnificent?
I think Steve Sullivan did that. I think it was coming off of Bashir Shabazz. I came in right behind him. So I think I kind of filled the void at that time of, the news play. So he came up with this cool slogan, Madre the Magnificent, and it just went on from there.
I was listening to a conversation you were having with another sports director in Little Rock, Westmore, and one of the things that you guys were discussing when looking for the next head coach after Chad Morris's tenure ended here was you got to find an Arkansas guy. That was one of the statements that you echoed over and over again, someone that understands this program. Based on what you know about Sam Pittman, based on what you know about he grew up an Arkansas fan, is Sam Pittman that guy, Madre?
Well, I don't consider Sam Pittman an Arkansas guy. I think he's the closest to an Arkansas guy that we could get at that time. So, with that being said, an Arkansas guy to me is almost a Barry Lunny Jr. Type of a guy. Barry Lunny is not quite ready to be that guy. I mean, he still has his journey to make, but hopefully he can become a guy in the near future that can prove himself, a little bit of a Dabo Swinney type of story and come back and save the program. That's what I'm referring to when I talk about an Arkansas guy. But Sam Pittman has some history with the Razorbacks. He's the closest to what we have at the time when you look at the pool of coaches that was available. He has some relationships with the players. I think that it's a good fit for where we are now.
Madre, when you look at what they're trying to build up there offensively, and you got Kendall Briles running the offense as the coordinator, you got an offensive line-minded head coach. What's your evaluation? What's your read on what they're trying to build up there?
Well, first of all, we're trying to build a program that can get a win. Most of all, compete. This is going to be an interesting year because you have a bunch of guys on the schedule that are all SEC, game day hard hitters. So this is going to be a good battle testing for our program. Not to say that we're going in with expectations that's not real. I mean, let's be real. I mean, every day in the SEC is hard for Alabama. Yeah. So it's going to be very tough for us as well. But this is what it's going to do for our program. It's going to get those kids battle tested. They're young, they're pups, they're going to learn how to bite. And that's the most important thing. So once you go SEC every week, man, let me tell you, the next year when you have some non-conference games, our guys are going to be ready. We're going to be battle tested. They're going to be thrown in the fire and have to survive. And that's the most beautiful part of it. What if the guys do catch fire and win in the SEC? Their confidence is going to be so over the top that, anything can happen. Yeah. And all it does is take a win.
And let's talk about that, because it seems like the last couple of years there was very little belief within the program, at least from the outside looking in. You were up there during that transition at the end of your career. from Danny Ford to Houston Nutt. What was it like being on the inside of that transition and that contagious belief that grew in '98?
Recruiting. That's the sign. When I came in, I never even thought about losing. Losing wasn't even a thought process in my mind. I remember when I walked through the cafeteria the first time when I was in Arkansas. There was a bunch of guys sitting at the meal table, and J.J. Metters was sitting there, and he says, "Here comes the big shot. You think you're going to be able to produce an SEC?" And I looked at J.J. as clear as day, and I said, "It's just football." And I was a freshman. And that's the type of confidence you have to have. I mean, football is football. You lace up the pads. You get out there on the field. You snap. You snap the ball. You got to have recruits that believe in themselves. It's almost, people in today's time, when you're looking at an athlete, they love to say he's cocky, he's arrogant, he's this and he's that. But to survive between the lines, you have to be that guy. When you look at all the greats that have ever played sports on any level, they have some of that. You have to have that. It demands respect on the field, and it makes you accountable to yourself. And that's the same things in coaching. When you're looking for a coach, you're looking for either three types of coaches. You're looking for an arrogant SOB, which is Nick Saban. You're looking at Urban Meyer. You're looking at a Steve Spurrier, where their ego and cockiness would not allow them to lose. It's not money-based. They want to be the biggest guy in the room. And then you got your recruiters. Dabo Swinney, Bobby Bowden back in the day, those type of guys that not necessarily can coach the guys, but they can get the guys in and surround themselves with coaches that can do it. And then you have your stabilizers. And your stabilizers is somebody like a Brent Bielema. They'll come in and stabilize the program. The program is not going to excel, but it's going to be stable. And we're hoping that Sam Pittman, with his recruiting background, is a guy that can fall somewhere between a stabilizer and a recruiter, and bring the program back to a respectable point. And because, as we both know, it hasn't been for some time.
Madre Hill, former Arkansas Razorback running back, with us here on the Morning Rush. Madre, you mentioned just kind of the personality, the that type that you kind of had. What do you see in Rakeem Boyd? Does he have a little bit of that in him?
Well, I think he wants to be great. I don't know him personally, but the way he runs the ball, he runs hard. I mean, the guy has talent. I mean, no one can question that. He's fast. He's big. I think that he just needs help. I think he just needs a little bit of offensive line play, to allow him to excel. No one man can do it on his own, but what one man can do is change the atmosphere of the team. It can make a team believe that they can win. It's not that it's not that New England couldn't win without Tom Brady, but with Tom Brady, they knew that they could. And that's the difference. It's the belief. It's the comfort zone. When things get splattered against the wall, you can separate the colors. And that's the most important thing, is just not bundled up and you're trying to figure your way out of something. It goes back to way back when the 49ers was winning the Super Bowl, and they said that Joe Montana walked in the huddle and cracked a joke, in the midst of a very important drive. those guys was comfortable with Joe. They didn't panic. They knew that with Joe they had an opportunity to win. And that's what, some of those guys bring to the table. And hopefully Boyd has established himself enough with his team as being an older guy, that they can relate to him in that way.
Madre, Rakeem Boyd has had to gone through adversity, not so much individual. He has had some injuries, but not to the extent of you tearing your ACLs and stuff. When you look back on your career and when you kind of compare it to some of these other guys, the adversity that they've gone through as a team, what would your advice be just from an individual standpoint, a guy that went through just tumultuous ACL injuries, and how you got back on track and how you just were able to continue to persevere through all of that?
Well, first of all, the football is the closest thing to game of life. I mean, to life itself. You can be going good in a blink of an eye, something can change, and you just have to adapt. You're not able to control the hand that you're dealt. You just have to play it out. Try to come up with a strategy to win, and that's football. I mean, it's no different. When something happens, something's always going to happen. I mean, you're not going to go unscathed. No man does. You just have to be able to bounce back. It's only a matter of time before something happens. And that's where the old slogan comes in, next man up. You hope that your success on the field enables your program to bring in another guy who's capable of that type of success because of your success. That's why it's so important to win and recruit and have guys come in that's not only of your talent, but better than your talent. When Derek McFadden broke my single season record, the first thing they did is ask me, were you excited about him breaking the record? And I said, no record should stand the test of time. No record. Derek McFadden record shouldn't stand the test of time. Because if it does, that means your program has not taken one step forward.
That's right.
Yeah, and you want to continuously break records and have guys come in to excel the program to the next step. I mean, that's part of the building block.
It's like your kids. It's like your kids. You want your kids to do better than you.
Exactly. So I'm looking for Boyd to have a breakout season. His O-line to be there for him, and him there for his O-line, and just take the program to the next level. We have been to the SEC West Championship. We done that 3 to 4 times. I was part of the first 2. I'm ready to win the doggone thing. Let's win it and take the next step for our program. It's not good enough just to go to the SEC Championship. It's been done before. Let's do something that hasn't been done. Let's do something for the first time.
Well, Madre, thanks for your time. It's been a minute since we've caught up. Kind of tell everybody what you're doing. You're a business owner. You've been very successful for yourself since your playing days. It's been a minute since you've been on the show, but I know life has went well because of your hard work.
Well, I appreciate that. I have a business called Razor Clean. You can find it online at www.razorcleaninc.com.
Way to grab a free plug there. Good.
Yeah. Shameless plug.
Smart on you. I told you he's a smart guy. So.
Well, we do a lot of different things. We're just not a cleaning business. We do a whole lot of things. But, since the COVID-19, it's been 4th and 1 for us, just like everybody else. You're going for it. You're trying to live to fight another day. And any help that anybody can provide, it would be greatly appreciated.
I'm glad you're doing well, and thanks for your time.
I appreciate you, bud. Go Hogs.
All right, Madre Hill with us here on the Morning Rush.
Great stuff from Madre. And I think the stuff with Rakeem Boyd and just talking about the players, I love – we talk about this all the time. There's a fine line between cockiness and confidence. But when you have 68 touchdowns in high school and you have over 6,000 yards and you're the national in threes, when you're the not Arkansas, when you are the national